Hey guys, Pavis here with another off the cuff, random, ramble, rant, whatever these things are. You guys know the drill. Today, we're going to be talking about, a light topic, death. 100% serious note here. I don't think there's anything I fear more than death. The concept of death is so existentially frightening to me that oh man, it scares the living bejeebies out of me. The living bejeebies out of me. Well, gotta get back in focus. So, why? Why is that so scary? To me at least, I love life. I love living. I love being. I absolutely love it. I love eating. I love socializing. I love creating. I love doing all of these things. I love life, to be honest. Uh, and the thought of losing that at all, the fact that I could just potentially not exist and it's all over just scares me. It scares me to my core. Um, Luckily, I live I live in a country where I don't have to fear for my life every day. I've been very blessed with, at least so far to my knowledge, with very good health. Um, Death is not an ever looming possibility, for me at least. Um, and I'm very fortunate for that. But the dread of just one thing slipping up, or one thing going wrong, or just all of these things that could happen to end my life, theoretically. Um, it's a fear that, at least in my childhood, was dominant. Um, I used to not be able to, whenever we had classes, I think it was a geography or social studies, or whenever we talked about natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, I just couldn't handle it. Like, I'd start freaking out. Um, of course, nowadays I'm a lot better with that stuff. Like, this is a fear that I've come to terms with being um, somewhat irrational, but not really. I'll explain that in a bit. Um, but I don't buy into the philosophy that death is natural. In the sense that there are so many things in this world that are horrible that we label as natural, or that could be labeled as natural. Um, Humans, through technology over the past thousands or so years, our life expectancy has jumped dramatically. We live much longer lives because of our ability to defeat, quote unquote, what is in the natural world in that sense. We've managed to create a habitat for ourselves where we can live much longer than we ever could, and it was by defeating things that are natural, in a disease, death, uh, cancer. Of course, we haven't defeated cancer, but medical advancements, higher standard of living. Of course, you could have the philosophy that none of those things, or that those things, that defeating those things is unnatural. Um, I don't share that perspective, but I don't view death as another kind of something to just lie down and accept. I think that eventually, not within my lifetime probably, but we are going to come at some point, or maybe not, depends on your outlook on how positive you think, how positive or how good odds you put on humanity's chance to make it this far. But at some point, we are probably going to pass or get out of, surpass mortality. Well, maybe not totally, because that's impossible, because entropy. Everything eventually fades out, decays energy. It's just the way the universe is. But I want to live as long as possible. I don't view death as something that to just lie over and accept, and I don't categorize it as something to, that's good just because it's natural. However, just because of the time I live in, I'm going to die. And I don't know when, don't know how. And those two facts I'm actually okay with, in the sense that there's nothing I can do about them. I'm literally in the scenario that is theoretically best possible scenario for me to be in terms of my health, in terms of my upbringing, in terms of where I was born. I am, at least at the moment, who knows, something could happen down the line. I am kind of put in the lane to live a very long, healthy life. And most of the things, I can do as much as I can to control that by making healthier choices and being a healthy person. And anything outside of that scope, I have no control over. And if I have no control over it, it's not worth worrying about. It's not worth letting that dominate what I can do. So over the course of, I'd say, the last few years, I've slowly come around to just, again, this is almost the only conclusion you can arrive at when you talk about something like death, is that it's going to happen. You have no control over it. You kind of just have to accept it, in the sense that you can do everything you can to make healthy decisions and live a long, happy life. You can make all the right decisions, and it can still be wiped out by something unforeseen, and you have no control over that unforeseen thing, and because you have no control over it, it's not worth worrying about. It's not worth letting that dominate what you can do, because in the case that thing doesn't sweep in and, like a fucking rock, it doesn't drops from the sky and kills you, you don't have control over that. But in the case it doesn't, your choices and the way you live is going to dictate how much life you get. And in the case of me, I want as much life as possible. I view life as extremely valuable and as a gift, and I enjoy life. I honestly, I can't get enough of life. I love life, and I'm even in that mindset, I am blessed to be able to think that way. I've been surrounded by mental illness my whole life, so not me, but surrounded by it. I know what it's like. Well, I don't know what it's like, but I have a semblance of that pain of what it's like. I can never fully relate to it, but I know what not being able to think that way, or not being able to, not necessarily not being able to think that way, but I've seen the opposite perspective, very close, and it's given me, it's made me much more thankful that I have the mindset that I do, or that I have the mental health that I do as well, to be able to think about life that way as a gift and something to, make the most of. So, in conclusion, death is scary, man. It's spooky, it's scary, and I fear it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to make the decisions and live my best life, just live the best that I can, or make the most of what I am given, so that if any point it is taken from me, then I don't have any regrets, or that I'm just living a happy life. And if that's an ever long constant, it really doesn't matter when it ends in that sense. But, you know, that's just me, I guess. So yeah, thank you for watching this. See you around.